hello again. And for today, I'm going to be delving into why I despise the Libertarian Party and all of the flaws that I see stemming from the ideological values as well as the lack of goals of the party. But before I begin, I just want to say I am incredibly excited to announce that I have over 100 subscribers on YouTube. This, to me, it was a big goal working towards the channel. If I could get 100 subscribers in a completely throttled YouTube with multiple activist organizations going against what essentially are my worldviews, then that means that I am being successful in my mission of driving up the viewership of this channel. And hopefully I get to more milestones before I potentially could be banned off the website entirely. I hope that BitChute becomes a better alternative than YouTube, because I would like to increase my presence there. And I'm thinking of maybe getting into some spicier takes on the site rather than just talking about alt tech on there. So expect some kind of future censor-free content over there. And always be sure to check the BitChute page if you can't find a video that I've put out. And obviously when I do upload exclusively to BitChute, that will be the link. Or it will just be on Minds, because Minds has finally fixed their fucking uploader. So that's always good news. So I would like to get into my real problems with the Libertarian Party. But before I do that, let me explain my relationship to the Libertarian Party. When I was younger and starting to get into politics, I was really dismayed by the way adults in my life viewed America as a two-party country. I thought it was always disingenuous, because the Libertarian Party was always there giving a third position. And even though I wasn't a voter, if I did vote in 2008 and 2012, which were 2 years that I could have voted for the president, I would have totally voted for Ron Paul. Even as not politically strong as my opinions were back then, I understood the value of having more than two parties, and that always was, to me, a staunch position to take. But as the Libertarian Party continues to fall into its own echo chamber, I have been increasingly disillusioned with a lot of the decisions that they've been making. And more recently, Justin Amash, a complete fucking neocon loser for my money, this guy is becoming the Libertarian Party frontrunner for 2020, and nothing could be worse. I mean, Bill Weld was bad enough. Fucking everybody saying, oh, Bill Weld's going to be a libertarian lifer, and then immediately he jumped ship when it became most convenient. But now we're just letting in whoever the fuck wants it because they're a celebrity. And so, again, my brain explodes. Like, if I was a New York State voter last year, I would have voted for Larry Sharpe in a fucking heartbeat. Okay, the conservative that they put to run against King Guinea himself, Andrew Cuomo, was a complete joke. Larry Sharpe was the only one with sensible solutions to the bloated size of government that New York State, unfortunately, is constantly underwhelmed by, or overwhelmed by. Fucking, you know, it's just embarrassing to look at New York State right now as the COVID-19 outbreak continues, and it seems that the stay-at-home measures for some of the elderly did not work for a lot of them and have caused lots of deaths, and their blood will be on Cuomo's hands. So make no mistake, the New York people are really stupid, but I will say, whoever did vote for Larry Sharpe, you are a sharp individual. So let's get into some of these points that I have listed here. The first one I have already begun to talk about a little bit, and it is that the libertarians in the Libertarian Party proper are ideological lunatics. These are your Milton Friedman acolytes. These are the people who will go on and on and on about Hayek and fucking Thomas Sowell and literally every libertarian conservative, and, you know, extol the virtues of Ayn Rand and love to talk about what is that shit, objectivism. And yet these are not things that work for the American people right now. These are things that, in fact, only work in an ideal society. And unfortunately, we do not live in an ideal society. We live in a society where people are being imported by the hundreds of thousands to vote for more government. And as a libertarian, you should be rejecting this line of thinking. You should be rejecting these people from coming in and ruining the founding ideas of this country. But no, you want them in because more cheap labor, more GDP. It's just like, dude, shut up. And I'll get more into open borders when that point comes along. But frankly, I just find that every libertarian in the party is just another John Stossel. It's just this fucking lunatic of not even like cool libertarians like Murray Rothbard or fucking Hans Hermann Hoppe. You know, these are the guys that the libertarians should be looking up to right now if they want a chance at winning over the hearts and minds of American people. But no, we gotta fucking never-endingly suck Milton Friedman's cock until his corpse runs dry. So I really don't know what to say other than they are just ideological lunatics and need to be checked at every fucking turn. Following up on that, we have the second point here, and I believe that the Libertarian Party, as a result of these ideological debates that are very insular, they have no cohesion to essentially extol their values onto the American public. I mean, when's the last time you saw a libertarian publicly in the media talking about their positions, talking for a limited government? Usually what you see nowadays is a neoconservative talking about limited government, like that is what the whole point of conservatism is, which is not. Conservatism is about order. Libertarianism is about limited government. You know, for me, the one example that always goes to show what a libertarian is that Ron Swanson bit where he tries to teach the girl about how the government's just stealing her lunch out of her box. It's just like, yeah, that's a libertarian right there that is not a conservative. And yet the libertarians themselves, because not only of their ideological positions, but their adherence to individualism, it has really made them stupid. And that's why I think like Sargon's group of liberalists at the time were way smarter than the LP, is because at least they wanted to build themselves on a foundation of values that everyone could agree to. The Libertarian Party can't even fucking do that because of individualism. So, you know, if you want warriors to fight against collectivism, the LP will not fucking stand with you. So, another loss for libertarianism overall. The third point, also kind of tying into a lot of what I'll be talking about today, is that the Libertarian Party has no goals. They have nothing to build towards. And it really shows when, you know, Gary Johnson gets more than 5% of the fucking popular vote and securing a future for libertarianism. Yet there is no successor to Gary Johnson this year. And everyone's just squabbling about who's the best candidate to get more than fucking 15% this time. And while the goal is to, you know, be an active party member of the debates, you have to do that by driving up party membership. And I'm sorry, I don't see the data on is the party membership driving upwards. I think it is flatlined. And you see that with the way libertarians act amongst each other. They don't have anything to build towards. You know, say what you will about Groypers, you fucking lolberts, but they are building towards a larger takeover of conservatism. And, you know, when neoconservatism finally fucking bites the bullet, you're going to have to let in all those people because that's where they're going to go. And they're going to just take the LP right out from under you. So you better watch out because, yeah, those people are not good. So let's talk about something that they would all agree on between NeoCons and the LP. And they all believe, as point number 4 states, that open borders is a good thing. And if you were to talk to an American who's been displaced in, I don't know, maybe the tech industry, an industry that's supposed to be foolproof from shit like H-1B worker replacement, they would fucking hate your ideology of open borders, free market capitalism, because open borders, free market capitalism completely displaced their way of living, has made their degree useless. And what are you doing? Oh, we need more workers to secure the GDP for going up 3 points by 2025. You know, like, just shut up, dude. Like, no one likes you, and you're a fucking egghead. And again, open borders is a fantasy. It is a perfect society where only a handful of people every year would really use the freedom of movement to come into your country, which is not the case. Okay, there are too many third world countries that want the gibs. They want the handouts, and you're just being useless if you support open borders at this point. You are not building something that people really want. Okay, 80% of people right now in the middle of this pandemic want a moratorium on immigration, full stop. And you are still preaching open borders? Dude, get a grip, okay? And so, tying into this, when it comes to neocons and libertarians, there's only one real difference, and that is interventionism with the neocons and isolationism with the libertarians. And so as a result, since the neocons have controlled the GOP and the LP is the party of libertarianism, there is no real alternative being made by the Libertarian Party. The only real difference is one key issue, and that is pro-war or anti-war. And building a party based on one key difference is a falsehood. It is not a real alternative. And when you do this, you are essentially securing the fact that you will never gain momentum as a party because you are not a staunch opposition to whatever the quote-unquote conservative establishment is. You are just saying that, hey, do you like guns? Do you like weed? Do you like hate war, man? Well, then join us libertarians, maybe. It's like, yeah, no, I'm good. Because now conservatives, or the GOP is full of these social or anti social conservatives. They are these libertarian conservatives in their social policy. So it's like, who gives a fuck? All right, like when Trump said that weed should be a state's issue, that's when the Libertarian Party is fucking lost, because there go all of the quote unquote converts going back to the GOP, and instead they could be sitting pretty with some libertarians. But nah, we can't. We just can't build a party. And speaking of which, this leads to my final point, and it's that despite all of the traction that the Libertarian Party has gained, there is no real movement being formed around this. And again, this is a lot of reiterating. But essentially, Larry Sharpe did a lot for libertarianism in New York. Gary Johnson did a lot for the party overall. But yet, there is no movement being built on their backs. There is just more infighting, more retardation, more dumbasses pretending to be libertarians. And it's just like, you're a fucking joke, okay? Build a party, okay? You have won a couple of key battles. Why are you not building off of that momentum? And it's simple, because libertarians are so displaced from one another. They're so individualistic that they cannot form a cohesive, coherent party. And that is going to bring me closer to the conclusion of this commentary, as, again, I really don't see how this party can move forward with the way they act currently. It would take a giant movement of neoconservatives fleeing the GOP because the Groypers won for me to really be like, yeah, I think the LP would be a viable alternative. Because once the neoconservative establishment comes into the Libertarian Party, that's when a stronger third party can be formed. And that would really get a lot of these centrist-minded voters. And then we would see some real ideological divides in this country to where, it would be like, I would say it would be like the conservatives of the UK but they would be much further right in America. And then the Libertarians are more like the Lib Dems, and then the Democratic Party is just like Labor, you know? And then the Greens are irrelevant, just like the Greens in the fucking UK. They'd be like the fucking SNP or some shit. And, you know, all I have to ask Libertarians is that, like, do you want to be, like, anti-war neocons? Like, is that what you want to do with yourselves and with your life? You just want to advocate against war, but pro literally everything else that is fucked over this country time and time and time again? Because that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get if you don't buck the fuck up and make a strong libertarian party. And so in conclusion, this is what I see is wrong with the Libertarian Party, is that they are unwilling to do the hard work to make a strong party, to make a place, a big tent movement, if you will, for a lot of libertarians. And it is why libertarians are also so disaffected from voting overall. It's because of this weakness. I mean, for fuck's sake, in 2016, there was a guy with known Antifa ties who gets naked on stage, and that's like the best publicity the Libertarian Party gets all year. And then the second best is that key moment, I believe it was on CNN, when they asked Gary Johnson about the state of Syria and Aleppo, and Gary Johnson goes, what is Aleppo? I mean, it's fucking embarrassing, dude. So, to the Libertarian Party, who does not want to put in the hard work to make a strong party, well, you better tread lightly, because the neocons at some point will take over, and you're going to have to answer to the cokesucker in chief.